that's a shell. We're gonna just get that out. Hey everyone, it's Anna and I'm back with another vintage cookbook. This time I'm reviewing, one moment, 100 prize-winning recipes from Pillsbury's third Grand National $100,000 recipe and baking contest. It's a really long way to say Pillsbury Bake Off, but this is what it was called back in the day. This book was published in 1952, but the contest itself took place in December of 1951. The first Bake Off took place in 1949 and it was in honor of Pillsbury's 80th birthday. They've continued to have Bake Off competitions through the years, introducing more categories, introducing more allowable ingredients. Some of the Pillsbury Bake Off competitions have even been televised. I remember watching a couple growing up. And really, you could win some pretty good prizes. I mean, if you think about how much $25,000 was, it's still a lot today, but how much was it back in 1952? Like, that was life-changing money. So unfortunately, my copy is a bit delicate and the cover has come off. I still have the cover at least. Does anybody know how to repair these without just like slapping a whole bunch of packing tape on them? If you have any idea, please leave me a comment down below. We'll start with the cover. We have the grand prize winner on the cover. This is called Pillsbury's $25,000 Starlight Double Delight Cake. One of the first things that I noticed when flipping through this cookbook, the only required ingredient was Pillsbury's best flour. On the back it says, all 100 recipes won with Pillsbury's best, the Grand National flour. In later Bake Off cookbooks, you'll see things like refrigerated biscuits being used, a whole array of Pillsbury products. One of the things I love about this cookbook is that they just have some really amazing photos of the contestants. So you'll see on the cover, we've got a few right here. This is Art Linkletter. I think he was sort of like a TV host kind of guy. The one thing I do know about him is his like Kids Say the Darndest Things TV shows and books. That's the setup for the Bake Off. It's pretty neat. This Bake Off took place in the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. How exciting would that have been to travel to New York City? But like, just look at all those stoves that they had to set up. One of the articles I read said that in order to put all of these appliances and things in here, they had to tap into the New York City subway system's electricity. That's a big undertaking if you really think about it. There's no way that you could just install all of these appliances in a regular place. I don't know a ton about building, but like I know that if you don't have the proper electrical setup, like you can do some damage or things just won't work. There's a lot of photographs in here. I don't see any illustrations. Some are in color, some are in black and white. Chocolate peekaboos. And this was submitted by Mrs. Frank M. Ramsey from Philadelphia. And that is Mrs. Frank M. Ramsey. If the person who submitted a recipe was married, which a lot of them were, they would use their husband's name. So Mrs. Norman, whatever, Mrs. Thomas, whatever. It was really common to do it back then. I don't know most of these women's first names. And speaking of men versus women in this book, I only found winning recipes by 2 men, I think. I tried to go through everything. All the other contestants were women as far as I could tell. Some Bake Off competitions had some pretty iconic recipes that came out of them. Someone won with the peanut blossom. So you know the peanut butter cookies with the Hershey's Kiss at the top that everybody makes and a lot of people love. Those came out of a Bake Off. Most of what's in here is baked goods, cakes, pies, cookies. We do have an entree section. The entree section was like 3 pages. I have seen this recipe in a few different Pillsbury books. Jam strip cheesers. I think that's like a hilarious name. It's like a cream cheese cookie where you hollow out the center and you fill it with your favorite jam. It kind of reminds me of a thumbprint cookie. Window waffle wedges. These are extra sweet and crisp golden brown waffles. You serve them with vanilla ice cream and refreshing pineapple mint sauce on top. That sounds delightful. Here's a great junior recipe, second prize winner, hot ziggities. So you grind up hot dogs and you add some mustard and egg, some flour, of course. You had to have Pillsbury's best flour in these recipes to enter the competition. You make a pastry and then you cut it into rectangles and then you put that meat filling inside. Here's what a hot ziggity looks like. It's kind of like this. They remind me of tamales. I know they're not tamales, but that's what they look like. So this is the apple orchard pie, and that was the $5,000 winner. We've got our hot ziggities, the $3,000 winner, and then Orange Glory Rolls, which was the $1,000 winner. I could look through these all day. I mean, these are just such classic recipes. I did choose a specific one to prepare today. Today I'm going to be preparing chocolate marble bars. And look at how pretty those are. They are beautiful. Dark, rich chocolate is swirled through and through these butterscotch flavored coconut bars, a wonderful flavor combination. Love all of those flavors. I think butterscotch is really one of those like stealth flavorings that more people like than they think. You taste something with butterscotch in it, like butterscotch chips, and you're kind of like, what is that? Like, what is that flavor that makes this so good? It's butterscotch. I'm telling you, you like butterscotch more than you think. This makes 4 dozen bars. I really wanted to try and cut this in half, but some of the ingredients, like the eggs, you know, it'd be a little bit difficult to do that. So I am gonna make a full recipe and hope that they freeze beautifully. Here is the winner and the person who submitted this recipe, Mrs. Sado herself. I love that they include photos of the contestants. It's so cool. Here, Mrs. Sado shows you how she made her cookies at the Waldorf. It's really very simple. Just bake them in pans and cut them into squares or bars. I mean, isn't that how you make a bar cookie? Anyway, I'm really looking forward to these. They sound like they're gonna be amazing. Let's get started. Mrs. Sado said that these were really very simple, but there are a lot of ingredients in here. Preheat oven to 375. I've done that. Sift together 2 cups of Pillsbury's Best enriched flour. I don't have Pillsbury's Best. I couldn't tell you what this is. 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'll dump that in. Get myself going here. I think that is sufficiently sifted. Melt 2 ounces of chocolate with 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/3 of a cup of hot water over a double boiler. I did that already because it had to have time to cool. So I think I better grab my next bowl and then sweep over all of these ingredients. Cream, 3/4 of a cup of shortening. What did I have here? It's not something I cook with very often, but when I do have it on hand, I like to have the Crisco sticks because it is just so dang easy to measure. I don't know if there is a shortage in Northern California. I don't know. I just could not get it at any of the grocery stores that deliver. What I ended up doing is getting this really like fancy organic vegetable shortening from Whole Foods, and I really, really hope it works. The texture is a little bit more like coconut oil than it is Crisco, so fingers crossed. It's like almost crumbly. Add gradually 1/2 cup of sugar. Yeah, I'm guessing Mrs. Sado did not use organic vegetable shortening. She probably used Crisco or Spry or one of the other fine shortening products that was available back in 1951. It's feeling okay. It does feel correct. And now we incorporate a cup of firmly packed brown sugar. And we're gonna add our eggs. So I have 3 large eggs here. After the 3 eggs, we add 2 tablespoons of milk. Blend in dry ingredients gradually and mix thoroughly. I want to make sure that there's no flour on the bottom that hasn't been incorporated. So I'm going to scrape that kind of up just to make absolutely sure. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my review, but this is the 2nd place winner. Wow, that was a big piece of batter that just fell off. This is the 2nd place winner for the Bake Off in 1951. Mrs. Sado won a $10,000 prize, so I have very high hopes for these bars. Now it says to add a cup of shredded coconut and a teaspoon of vanilla. I thought it was kind of unusual to add the vanilla at this stage. When I make other cookies, I add it with the butter and sugar. Like at that stage when you're creaming the butter and sugar, I think usually then it goes kind of like vanilla and eggs, but I'm gonna do what she says. She won $10,000 for this recipe. So we have our vanilla and our coconut. Doop, doop, doop. I think I'm gonna fold. I don't wanna overdo it with the hand mixer. So this is what we have with all of the ingredients incorporated except for the chocolate. This batter, I have to say, it has kind of like a brown sugary, buttery kind of scent, even though there's no butter in it. I'm getting like grandma vibes from this, which I'm into, so it's fine. Spread batter in well-greased 15 by 10 inch shallow pan or 2 9 by 9 inch pans. I went with 2 9 by 9 inch pans in this case. I'm gonna get my offset spatula because this is a very good task for that. Here she is. I have to try to like divide this evenly. I don't think I want to like weigh it. I think I'm just gonna eyeball it. Did your grandma weigh her batter? I seriously doubt it. We'll see where we're at with this one. And then if I have to, I can kind of divvy it up in a different way, adding more or less. to each pan. Oh, that made a very satisfying thwack. I guess I could weigh these after the fact. Maybe that's a good idea, and then I can even it out. Has anybody ever tried these bars? They just looked really good. It had flavors that I personally really enjoy, but I would love to hear your experience with these, if this is something that you've made or maybe someone in your family used to make. One of my favorite things is to hear from you guys. Let's see how close I got. I'm gonna get a scale. What are you? So you're like 30 ounces and like 30 ounces. I did it. They're both like, this is 30.7 and this is 30.8. I'm gonna count that as a win. Got my chocolate here. I melted 2 ounces of unsweetened chocolate with 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/3 of a cup hot water over a double boiler. I always feel weird about adding water to chocolate. It does appear a little grainy. I'm not even sure if the camera will pick that up, but I'm trying to stir it, make it a little smoother. Pour the chocolate mixture in a thin stream over the batter in the pan in a close diagonal pattern. Then cut through the batter with a knife in the opposite direction to give the marbled effect. So this is the effect that we are looking for. I'm not going to come anywhere close to this, but it's beautiful. I'll give it a shot. You know, I bet she probably just poured this right from the bowl and did it perfect like every time. I've given up. Diagonal is not happening. Diagonal, we tried. Okay, let's see if we can sort of get there. Like that. This batter is so dang thick. It like doesn't flow that easily back into place when you cut through it. Yeah, oh my God, hers looks so much better than mine. She's up there probably laughing at me. I'm just assuming that Mrs. Sato is no longer with us. But wouldn't it be kind of funny if one of her family members found this video? If you're related to this lady, please let me know. I have a lot of questions. Namely, how did she do this so perfectly? You know what, we're gonna go Jackson Pollock on this. This looks terrible. No, it's partially because like the batter is so thick compared to this chocolate. They're not as gorgeous as the photo in the book, as you can plainly see. They smell really good, and I'm gonna go ahead and bake these. So they go into a 375-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Let's compare. You know, I gave it a try, but what really matters is how they taste. They're good. The texture is not what I expected. It's definitely not like a cookie bar. It's a little bit like borderline yellow cake, borderline blondie. So it does kind of have a little bit of a cakey, but still kind of a brownie texture. If you really think about it, I think the ingredients for blondies are like in these bars. They're pretty tasty. I definitely get sort of like an after school snack cake vibe from them. Kind of sweet, not too sweet, would be really good with a glass of milk. I like them. I don't know if I'll be making them again. If I do, I think I would definitely cut the recipe in half because I have so many of these now. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the results. It was pretty good. It wasn't weird. I think we're off to a good start for this year. I cooked a recipe from 100 prize-winning recipes. I cannot remember the rest of this title. From Pillsbury's 3rd Grand National $100,000 recipe and baking contest. How did they expect anyone to remember that? Probably why they shortened it to the Pillsbury Bake Off. Thank you so much for watching my videos week after week. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. Happy 2022, everybody. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I post content like this just about every week. If you'd like to see what else I'm up to, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is _cookingthebooks_. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Ba, ba, ba,